Hello. I wanted to go over some of the games I've played over the past few days because I just want to. I feel I've been playing very well. I'm not sure I've figured out Arena just yet, but there's progress to be made, as always. This day, I am playing as the Japanese. We also have the young Burgundians. I was trying to slur it with like the other thing, but it didn't work. The Burmese and the Berbers. On the other side of the map, we have the Byzantines. Those Franks. Hurricane, first name, last name Franks. We've got Adrien playing as the Bohemians. And we've got Jojo as the Malians. It's a pretty standard, straightforward game, I think. I just wish there were more options. Oh, that's one way. I wish there were more options to ban certain arenas or some certain stages, because I definitely would ban arena more often. I'm still trying to understand the backs of the gates. It's a random auto generated base. The map's always random auto generated, but sometimes you get small things in the back. Oh, well, I guess he deleted his, and he deleted his, and so everyone that's actually good at this game looks like they deleted their back walls, except for this guy. These guys got double gates going out the back of his kit base, and that's a nice feature that you won't find on many bases. Because this guy only has one. And I only have one. I don't know what that meant. Let's go for the Gaia. The market's going up. Fast castles incoming from many of these players. We can speed this up even a little bit more. So we're all working at least to get somebody to the castle age. I do believe Chocho goes castle first. He does. Followed right along with player 5, Ivan Drago. Wait, hold on. We've got Ivan Drago. Or Ivan, I'm thinking of the guy from Rocky 4, right? Ivan Drago or Draco, Ivan Draco. So we've got like slight misspellings, but we've got Draco versus Adrien in Rocky 7. This is it. This is Rocky 7. Okay. I believe they were going to maybe build a castle? But it seems that's not the case. These spearmen somehow found themselves in my gateway because a horse died in my gateway and they just decided to live there. He didn't bother to go any further into my base though. So if you look at the Fog of War, which is broken. Of course it's broken. I don't quite understand that because, yep, this is clearly broken. There we go. He doesn't quite realize he's inside of the base. He doesn't seem to care. He's very focused on building his farms and his TCs. This man's just watching the donkey go around in circles. And I believe he wanted to do a castle drop, but it doesn't look like he had the resources, so he just decides to build some houses, I suppose. And my team, well, this is not the right teammate, is it? Yeah, there's definitely, they've really got to get some of these things in line, because I clicked on that. Yeah, that's kind of messed up. Anyway, I have no idea what this guy was thinking, because he built a singular house. Oh, okay, he's running because he realized I'm kind of coming out with a man-at-arms. Look at this pro move over here, though. You're far away from your stone wall, so you don't get hit by your castle. That's actually brilliant. This is all walled up really well. Saroge. He's got his pikemen here just in case these do get in. On the other side, we do come forward a little bit. There's not a lot happening from the back. These guys are content. I should say at least player 6 is content. Adrien is content to stay in Philadelphia. And that's brilliant. I absolutely love this strategy. That is fascinating. That's a lot of stone to be throwing around there, but hey, if it works, it works. So everybody take notes. Make sure everyone does that in the future. A little aggression here. Main good action. And we do pull away from that. I don't want to risk that. But having some forward aggression is affording my pocket to take his time. This guy does not care. He'll come in pretty important later. Let's speed this up just a little bit. I want to see what happens. Somebody said thank you to somebody. And the monks, there are 5 monks here. So really, really good defense. I just want to take a look at the rest of his base really quick. Oh, I think you said thank you for the castle that is going up here, because he's been using a lot of his stone to wall out. So he has got himself 3 TCs, 5 monks, and that's fantastic. Mega now coming out. Speed this up a little bit. Can't wait to see what happens. And do they get in here? They do find their way into the base. There is a great pursuit of all colors here. This TC has gone up for player 1, so that's really nice. So player 1 was getting it pretty good, kind of lost a bit of his base. And these guys are just trying to follow and play catch up. Those will eventually go down, I'm sure, to the TCs or just get ripped apart. The aggression here was good, and this gentleman was pretty decent in walling and kind of managing the situation. I guess I could have just moved to another location. Our Fog of War does not see that at all. And that's... oh, that's still alive. The throwing axemen coming in. I guess those are good against the special unit there. And I'm thinking he's coming in for a castle drop here. Sees the pikeman, says, I want nothing to do with that. Castle drop coming in here, though, to keep the push. No hills, by the way, of course, in arena. At least Most of the time, I believe that's the case. No hills, meanwhile, affording the time for Ivan Drago to train military. And I'm curious to see how they pull themselves out of this jam here. You've got a very good castle. This is a very safe castle. You're protecting your resources here in the center. We'll lose a few vills. And the conversion comes in. Conversion comes in. Conversion comes in. And this is a really good castle drop. This is how you deal with the castle drop. Whatever we're about to see is what you do. And all these villagers are going back to work. Will this castle go up, or will the conversions come in? Imperial. Are we going to see trebuchets? I would imagine we're going to see trebuchets. But I didn't realize these guys were getting as hard hit as they were. So that's good to know. The other side is still being contested. There's lots of military buildings coming in, and the archers come in, and I do see that and do try to pull back my forces, but I am also curious to see. So this castle does go up. Mangonels have not yet been upgraded. And here comes the Treb. Solid pocket players. The scores are so close. Flip-flopping back and forth. Player 4 had a really good castle here and a good castle here, but did not build up in the center here. At least not yet. And Chocho probably should have died here. Had a really good defensive castle. And at this point, I can't quite remember what happened, but I ran out of resources and couldn't produce the way I wanted to. This castle will go down. I love that animation. It never gets old. 2 trebuchets. That's the minimum amount of trebuchets to be safe. And the cataphracts coming in. I almost said cataracts, but that's not the correct word. 2-handed swordsmen coming in. And the pikes. And at this point, the Bohemians really showcase the power of their guns. The range on these things are just incredible, but they do really well against these buildings here. You've got the mixing in of the halberdiers, which is just fantastic. It's fantastic play. I believe these are 2-handed swordsmen. They are, yes. But the damage, man, you've got 4. And completely just demolished. And they chew through so many of these buildings so quickly. In this building champion, I do recognize that and see it, and I do cancel it before the building goes down. I think that saved a lot of heartache and hardship later on down the line. Player 4 does decide to come forward. Player 1 is now secure at home. So I am very curious to see what happens on this side, because at this point, I paid no attention to anything else. I was trying to get my farms going, I was trying to get my eco going, I was running out of space in my base. And luckily my pocket was able to produce enough in terms of unit to give us a shot to hold this, but these buildings just go down so quickly. These gunpowder units are just so powerful. And I just feel like these Genitors are not doing any damage to these. Check back on the other side here. Ooh, okay, wow. And that must have been a really good exchange, because a minute ago all those camels were alive. And now they're dead. Ooh, okay, and champions coming in. See, and this is the new meta, I think. This is the new meta, is you're gonna see the infantry utilized so much more. Who went Arbalesters? 8. Player 8. And they've, I think, definitely lost some edge, in my opinion. There's so much going for the infantry and the infantry civs now. Unfortunately, I couldn't get my infantry off the ground. There was a lot happening, but just did not have the resources to continue to support. Somehow, player 5 decided to come north and then realizes, hey, we actually need those units, pulls them back down, and I think this trebuchet push will continue forward without too much of a problem. The champion protecting them. This is Cavalier from the Byzantines. So this was a very, very hotly contested area for the rest of the game. The gunpowder units just really doing damage. The 3 killed right there. Pulls them back, gets under his castle, and so, how many does he have? That's 6, 7 of those, and just firing from afar, and just, hey, you can take out these gold units, no big deal. You're only losing wooden food, if anything. These units get stuck in here, unfortunately, so he's probably wondering, where are my reinforcements? They were stuck down there. And just insane. Now, I think he actually hit his own building with those. So they're not always... The splash damage is pretty extreme. But I was surprised how well they were able to hold. Now, he's essentially holding this by himself. Yeah, he's got a few of these camels that are here, and there's a little support coming in. Meanwhile, on the other side, we've got Paladin, lots of Paladin, versus the elite camel archers. He's going into raid economy. I don't believe he's going to get there. He does not even make it. 3 trebuchets firing across the front. Castle coming in, but the trebuchets, or excuse me, the paladins, and just kind of the perfect counter. Exactly for the paladins. I think if they had switched it up instead of going primarily for the paladins, that could have been of a good thing for them. But this little squad here, they probably ripped down 60 buildings. Easy. Real easy. The front of my base hasn't even been hit yet, so we'll get to that here. And fast forward this so you can see the aggression, because at this point I just was really struggling for gold. I only had 10 on gold. Ooh, that's a little choppy. I only had 10 on gold, and it just seemed to be struggling to keep the gold resources. I had plenty on wood and plenty on food, but it wasn't much of a trade. The push was happening here. So all the time I'm looking at the mini-map and just saying to myself, it looks like there is contention here, and I actually had no idea if if they were winning or not. Holy smokes, they're just melting the paladins. They are just melting the paladins. That's insane. They're so strong. All the meanwhile, this does get conquered pretty quickly, but just how quickly they came in and just started mopping up the place. And player one, being as conscious as he was, said, do you guys need help? And we said, yeah. And that was fantastic. I did actually get some champions in behind the lines here and was going after some of the siege units that were in. Meanwhile, my base has become an absolute wreck. There's a lot of damage, and here come the elite camel archers, who really kind of saved the day here. And we'll watch this, and ooh, there's a lot. I didn't even see these guys here. So here you can see the cleanup. Oh my gosh, though, this splash damage. Oh, that's just disgusting. That's a lot of dead bodies. That's a lot of damage. Oh, well, they're like pushing with half their strength. So, that's that. It's far from over. But it gave me enough time to rebuild in the center, so that was nice. Gave player 5 enough time to rebuild and to rebuild his armies. So that was also great. I think player 6 just played out of his mind. He played so well. Contesting here, was pushing down here, and player 1 just came in and said, no thank you, you're done. And he's gonna leave. He's like, yep, you guys are good. Oh, maybe he doesn't. Champions in, lots of buildings in. And essentially, I'll just coast this out for the rest of the remainder of the match here. Some champion action back here, and the elite camel archers on the other side. And it's at this time, I just don't think they have any gold. No gold. At this point, player 2 is pretty much cleared out. Just getting one shot, just absolute massacre. Player 8 calls it, he's like, nope, no way. I'm good. I mean, his economy was predominantly untouched, but I think they're just looking at the sheer numbers here and saying, this is not possible. Take a look at the statistics. 550 units killed, 64 buildings razed, and only 2 buildings lost. That's just incredible aggression. Most of those units were probably mine, but he did a very good job at supporting his pocket. The other side of the map essentially just collapsed. So at the end of the day, I think we can just conclude that Ivan Drago would win against Adrien in a fight. So you just need to call in. You got to call in Rocky. Hope for the best. Here's another game we played. I played. We've got ourselves a good old-fashioned nomad. And we'll let this one unfold as well. Okay, in the me color, player 5, playing as the Dravidians. Player 6, excuse me, player 2, playing as the Huns. Player 4, playing as the Lithuanians, and these guys have their town centers really close to one another. Goodbye Khan, playing as the Rootin' Tootins. Got Sick My Duck, playing as the Hindustanis. And then we have this player, Fran. I'm just gonna call him Fran. Also as the Lithuanians. Wait, did I say somebody else was the Lithuanians and they weren't? That's probably accurate. Just ignore some of the things I've said. Okay, and then we have player 1 as the Mayans. And we've got player 7, I believe, as the Italians. Nope, the Portuguese, excuse me. Good early game, I think, for a lot of players. It seems like player 4 seems to be struggling a little bit with maybe some of the food available to him or her. Her name is Emilia. Emily a little oozy. Just let it unfold. I thought this was really neat that player 7 decided to fish the middle, because I mean it's not contested. It's easily 2,500 food, uncontested food, which is fantastic. Fishing ships, lots of fishing ships. And I think we just did a very, very good job at contending the water early on, which we did. I think that was exploring. And I think he was just signaling that this was another dock to be attacked, which I think I completely missed. Maybe Suck My Duck will eventually see that and attack, but for now, not much to say about that. Okay, speed this up a little bit more. The Castle Age incoming for many of the players. It's a pretty boring build at home. 3 TCs, some zebras to be had, and going along swordsman. Over yonder, it looks like there was border contention between player 7 and player 2, which I didn't see until just now. Archery range coming out, so I would imagine you're just gonna see regular archers come out of that. He's done a really good job about taking a good extensive map control. Okay, so he's rocking 3 TCs as well. And down here, we've got the long swordsman coming in and disrupting a little bit of the player 4's economy, where already struggling, it seems, to find wood and to keep wood. At this point, you've got a goat and you've got your farm, and perhaps trading up for your resources at this point. You don't want to be in Castle Age and not be able to produce anything. I'm unsure why that was pinged. It's a very safe outpost here. And player 7 was really kind of boxed in, so good for him to kind of be able to be aggressive, coming forward with everything that they have here. Camels coming in as well for Suck My Duck. Those camels will probably go down to the TC if he's not paying attention. I imagine that's what's going to happen. A lot of contention over here. Longsword's keeping people off of their resources. Unfortunately, that happens because you're not paying attention. And these were completely over here, and I forgot about them until just now. But really good aggression from player 7. Meanwhile, player 1 is living his best Farmville life with not much to say there. I do continue to attack player 4 here. I was over here a little bit earlier contending with player 6, but they do not have an answer for the military that's coming in. They do decide to drop a fast... It's not even a fast castle, it's just a castle. But I realize this and see the opportunity for killing a few villagers in the process, which 2020 hindsight was probably a super good move considering how much they were struggling to get their villager count up. And player 2 does resign. At this point, he doesn't have much in terms of fish. I think he could have probably stuck it out longer, so that was probably a quit of frustration. But meanwhile, the castle does go up. Player 6 is not doing much of anything, I think, at this point. Struggling to know how to deal with maybe some of the pressure, or debating whether it's worth fighting to continue. But player 7 and player 3 did a really good job here and brought a lot of pressure. Player 8 has been untouched, I think, for this whole game, except for maybe his fish. No, he's still got his fish. Once again, completely forgot these were over here. Instead of trying to run myself into this castle, I decided to move in here and at least put more pressure on player 6. Funnily enough, I feel like this armored elf in real life would have killed all of these villagers, but apparently a tusk thrust didn't quite do it. Didn't quite have the power to kill the villagers. So we'll speed this up some. Once again, I'm not thinking we're realizing that there's any fish. These fish will probably fish until the end of the game. But player 4 is not on fish. Player 6 is also, I think, given up the fish life. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, nope, they gave up because they decided that it wasn't worth the slow. Yep, that's good. I'm thinking that player 6 got some fuzz and didn't know how to help, so kind of experiencing collapse. And at this point, I decide to come... Oh yeah, they walked in my siege workshop, which is very cute. At this point, I decided to put up a castle of my own. Kind of a good central location, but would put pressure on this castle and this town center. And I don't think this was the best location for player 4. They really tried to expand and spread out, but I don't think had an opportunity to. Player 8 decided to bring in his own TC to this vacated area here. And this castle should go up without too much of a problem. Player 7 being conscious of what's happening here. This castle does go up, my murder holes come in, and everything around this castle begins to die. Yep, player 3 did a really good job. The camels were the perfect reaction to the early horses, and then you obviously have player 7 with the pikes, bringing in his own cavalry, and just does an incredible job. Player 6 has been so idle and untouched for so long, trying to build up their economy, but not bringing anything in to help their teammates, and they were really just gonna try to wall up and try to expand, I guess, but not a lot of aggression from player 6. Now I did hit him early and he wasn't able to maybe get the cavalry he wanted. Maybe he was going for an early cavalry rush, and unfortunately for him he wasn't able to help his teammates there. Go to the statistics. 57 units killed for Sick My Duck. And overall, there's the timeline. Really good game. Really good pressure. You love to see it. We'll move right along here. We have got ourselves a mega random map. In this game, I play as the Mongols, playing as the flank. This is player 1. On the other side, we'll go on the teams, because last time, no map's gonna be tricky, but I should have done it by team last time. We've got the Huns. Whoever, I believe these are Chinese characters, but I am not going to try to pronounce any of that. But they're playing as the Huns. Let's call him player 3, because that is how I know how to say. We got Dokev playing as the Japanese. And we've got player 7 plays the Gujaras. I would like to say this is an island in Hawaii, but I don't want to embarrass myself. Dams playing as the Malay. Ocean Jade playing as the Goths. We've got the Poles. I don't know what language that is, so we'll move along. And we've got another Chinese player playing as the Huns on the flank. So this map had the strong possibility of fishings, which it looks like. I'm curious to see how many. Okay. They are fishing, but they're fishing on the back. I fish on the front. So there's that. So player 3 was wise enough to go onto the back. Here we've got walls coming up to just keep it out. Of course, you can build a transport and go around, but sometimes the mental blocks keep you safe. And that's what happens in this case. I don't think at any point in this game does anyone make transport to bring people over. But player 2 is really just killing it in the fishing game right now. I believe these are... Yes, yeah. These are his forts. So yeah, he is scanning the coastline. These players save themselves so much heartache and hassle by putting it on the back, which I don't think I quite realized you could put them on the back. But I almost like this better than... the Mediterranean because you've got a little bit of extra. If you're wondering why they can't get through, I did do a quick stone wall to make sure that these did not have the ability to be walked through. And that was probably one of the better moves on my part in this game. Meanwhile, lots and lots of houses going up for the Malay. These quit looking for fishing ships, and I was fortunate enough to continue to get my food this way for the time being, and I was able to stave off the early rushes of the night. My pocket had all the time in the world to be safe, to be conservative, and he decides to go and build knights, which in the back of my brain, I realized before we started that if I was going to be able to complement him going horses with the Huns, if I could go for knights, that's what I was going to do. And I was able to buy myself enough time, walling most of this, but giving myself a chance. Here my fishing boats do go down. They are found. I do not try to contest this. But I do want this tower to go up, and I am fortunate enough to do that eventually. I can't quite remember if it's now or if it's later, but apparently this villager really wants to kill those horses. If we had thought about it, I guess we could have set up a really good trade market in the back, but oh well. So this will, in fact, get shored up. On the other side, nothing to write about, but really good pressure on water from player 2, not even thinking about the back of this. And I guess you could have gone through here. It's possible. It would have been possible. They're very, very slim, but think about this. You could have also gone cannon galleys and just swept right in there, which would have been really, really nice and convenient if you had followed through on it. These villagers do in fact make it over, and for some reason he thinks it's a really great idea to take my forward stone. It was not. Meanwhile, player 6 is sitting at home pretty. I don't believe he has even seen anyone else other than himself in this whole game. All quiet on this side, but lots of contention happening on this side. Player 3 coming through clutch, bringing those knights in. Even if it's just a few knights, they really make a difference here while holding this line, enabling me to be able to build up my economy, enabling me to be able to wall up, to build towers. For a while, I thought these two landmasses would be connected because of the way this guy walled this in. And I have no idea what his obsession is with getting his stone, because he's got stone here. Also, each of these bases have got the relics. They've got relics just sitting around. If you wasn't getting your relics, I don't know what you was doing with your life, but I made sure to get my relics, and I think there was one or two that I missed in the back, but I do find some of those later. But this is literally free gold sitting here, so it was actually just awesome. I think this person does eventually find out and he comes to his senses. So not much going on in the front. I'll let this kind of play out for a minute just to see. You can see. Let's speed this up just a smidge. Because this is where things get pretty interesting, at least on my side. I've not seen anything happen on this side. They're just building up their castles and playing Farmville. Not the case here. Not the case here. Lots of aggression. What the heck just got converted? I actually wasn't paying attention. Let's speed this up a little bit more, because I really want to see what happens on the other side, and I really want to be able to focus on what happens here, because it's actually genius. Oh, there was a landing? Was there a landing in the back? This is such good aggression from player 3. I did not even see this. The Obuks are in here. That's awesome. These are probably going to go down, but hey, that's one more villager dead. You're putting pressure on, and that's what you like to see out of a game like this. So I'm thinking that he just ran straight through it. He's going to run back. I didn't realize how far forward those had gone. And I'm wondering if he's going to just try to find a wood line back here, which is what I would do in such the case. Still quiet on the other side. Nobody's doing nothing. But we like to keep it interesting around here, and I'd like to see... He just runs his guys back. He just runs them back. I have no idea how they made it out alive, because by all rights, they probably should have died. Here come the goth spams. But for some reason, I don't think I came across any of the goth spams. Or even realizing that they were there, so it must be taken care of pretty quickly. Or efficiently. Either or, either or. But what would have been so good for this, and this is what player 6 does here in a minute, is if you buy and get cannon galleons. Based on these like little river inlets, it's so huge. It would have been huge if people had utilized that more. And people just did not want to do anything here. I want to see how these throwers do against the goth spam. Assuming that goth spam is what is going to happen here. But yeah, everybody's starting to get their relics, which is good. Which is good. Let's speed this up a little bit more. Or let me see if there's anything happening. No, there's nothing happening over here. That's very interesting. That's not something you see every day. But yeah, that'll do it. The chakram throwers. Oh, snap! That's a lot of damage. If you pardon the meme. Lined him up perfectly. Oh, well, it sucks to be that guy. And here, this is it. The cannon galleons. This, he really wanted to take that house out. And this is really good by player 3. He's recognizing that he needed to heal his units. He's going to get really good usage out of his units. And just really, really awesome. And I'm not sure where he was trying to go with this. He was waiting for the upgrade to come in. And I do try to get a conversion here. It does not work. But I think it would have been great if I could have gotten a conversion there. That would have been fantastic. And I'm the last to go to Imperial. But I've also been defending the front of my base, which I've done pretty successfully up to this point, especially with the cannon galleons coming in. They ripped apart my fishing economy earlier. I never decided to rebuild it. But here you go. Here's the Huskarl Goth Spam. So a lot of good action about to take place here. Not a lot of military from me, but I'm beginning to build up my barracks. We'll let that unfold for now. I want to see how these Huskarls do. Here they come. Here they come. Oh my gosh. They just chewed through them. That was disgusting. Oh my gosh. Because it layers on so well. How many is that? 14, 15, 22? Can't count. But yeah, really like the cannon galleons by player 6. I think he should have maybe been a little bit more aggressive with them. I think he maybe was trying to defend the Hun player here, but I think he would have been better off moving forward and attacking player 3, who remains untouched. And just absolute devastation. Absolute devastation. Holy cow, the Gujars. That's just disgusting. They're so strong. Oh my gosh. Not great in individual combat, but when you line everything up like that and get your shots in, man, oh man. Really, really something. How many trips does he have here? 5, 6, 7. 7 trips coming forward. These cannon galleons, once again, just so devastating. And at this point, I'm thinking to myself, I really need to make more military buildings. I need to get my population up. But once again, he should have brought these in further. I think he was worried about my watchtower. Because he's maybe like, seeing the rings and thinking to himself, something's going to happen, but... Okay, and we've got the elite samurai from the Japanese coming in and probably going to start ripping down all sorts of buildings. And he just brought them in so close that our military could get them, and maybe this is what was preventing some of his ships from coming in? It's hard to say. But see, this could have been dealt with. This could have been dealt with. He could have brought these cannon galleons further down. He could have brought them here. It's easy to say that in 2020 hindsight, but I just am so impressed of how quickly those Goths were destroyed. That was just insanely awesome to get to witness. And this guy's just going to put up more castles. That's really incredible. Down here we've got the continuous battle of the galleons and the cannon galleons. This trebuchet does survive, by the way. I think one of these gets converted? Yeah. So this guy helping that guy, helping that guy. Which was a lot of fun. But holy cow. This guy got completely run over. Like, that was so impressive, and that's how you deal with the Goth spam. Let's watch these champions meld here. I want to see this. I feel like the champions might have done a little bit better than the Huskarls, and I could be just crazy talking, but when you layer it on like that, with archers, obviously it's like 1 or 2 you can focus on. These are like walking scorpions. And that is just, oh my gosh, so devastating. You line them up. Man, oh man. At this point, we've completely ignored the ships, and we're just running military in. That is the way it was. Player 6, I like his thinking of cannon galleons, but once again, I don't need to beat that horse anymore. And all these fishing ships stop. I think they just get stuck in here. Can they not go through here? Yeah, they can. I mean, ships can go through here. I'm just being stupid. So devastating. Let's speed this up a little bit. We can obviously see that just the effects. Just lining up and shooting them down, man. And this is just very satisfying to watch, but clearly the destruction incoming. Yellow is in trouble. I do get some conversions on some of the boats, by the way, which was a lot of fun. Player 8 loses a lot of fishing ships here, so that was a lot of fun. And I guess maybe we did see a landing here. Let's speed this up. And that's pretty much the rest of it. This is that one trebuchet that survived making it through. That should have definitely been killed a lot sooner. These are a really good placement. Once again, I don't feel they were properly utilized. You could have inflicted a lot of damage on the rest of the crew here in the back. Player 4 wanted to stick it out. And let's enjoy their last moments. Wow, holy cow. Just absolutely, they absolutely melt. And the damage against the buildings. Holy cow. It's not even fair. Oh my goodness. And we'll just speed through to the end of the game. We'll all just ignore the fact that I just got to 103 population. So, wow. The Gujaras, man. I did not realize these were so good. So that's definitely something to keep in mind for future. I mean, a Black Forest map? Look at all these cross lines. That's incredible. On a Black Forest map, when you got nothing but little areas to shoot into, those are going to be absolutely devastating. Yeah, I mean, you could have maybe hit it with some mangonel action. But, holy cow, that was really powerful. We go to the statistics. 354 units killed. I mean, we saw him kill 30 at a time without breaking a sweat. That was just very impressive to witness and to watch. So if you ever want to get rid of the Goth spam, get yourselves a Gujara player. And just complete domination. I'll do one more. Just for fun. I don't even know if we win this one. We don't. We do not win this one, so I'm going to skip it. I don't need to show you all the ones that I've won. But I'll show you some of them. I believe this is a Mediterranean. Indeed it is. I believe I lose this one? Oh yeah, this one's actually not worth watching either. For some reason, player... whichever the red player was, completely, like, quit very early on. I also lose in this one. I think we've decided that we're good for today. We don't need to go through all of these, but at least give some content. You know, little something for now. And yeah, hope you all have a good day, and see you next time. Bye bye.